So you can do a vote and say, move each of the proportionate shares into, and the interest that goes with it, Patty. Because that interest was earned on it, $61,700 right now. So you can vote to move that money into the respective condos, but based on their percentage of what's theirs.
And that's only a board vote, not a board of the.
Correct. Correct. The reason for that is you did the work. And you could have just as easily have said at the time, had we known, Carol, pay the first dollars of this amount, Diane knows, pay the first dollars of this amount out of reserves painting, for the painting. But we didn't do that, so now it's kind of, it's not illegal what we're talking about doing. You only need a board vote to tell me to do it. That's what it comes down. But I gotta get the numbers for you, per comment.
One more comment that is for me, and then I have a motion on the floor to be voted on. So for the special assess, well, for the trees and landscaping and everything for phase 4 that needs to be finished, which we don't have a budget for. We have the construction, and we have not materially finished half of the buildings yet, per se, in this community. So before any money is allocated for fines, for any other landscaping items and everything, we need to make sure we're getting these buildings completely 100% repaired first. I mean, we're going to have a shortage on money, so why the buildings need to get done first, period.
So we're not able to close phase 4 for two reasons. We're getting fined $200, $250.
Phase 2, not 4.
Say 4.
No,
We
2.
need to close the 40-year. Phase 4 has been done since October, November. The reason why is when SD Engineering did their walkthrough, you had unit owners that did not put back up their lighting fixtures or don't have code compliant GFIs. The engineer says, I can't sign closing phase 4 because of that. Or advised, you can't close the fence permit, and the fence permit expires after a while until you meet the requirements of the city. So, hang on a second. So it is, we're getting fined daily. Phase 4 has to close. Phase 4 is done from a 40-year certification, with the exception of the 6 unit owners or so that have failed to upgrade the GFI or put their lights back. And the engineer will not sign that final electrical. That's the only thing waiting. So I'm going back to these expenses with these plants in order to satisfy the permit for the fence, which is part of the construction. Not the 40-year, but part of the construction. So we're in a tough spot because we need to close it, if not.
Do you have a price, Patty, on what it's going to cost?
The what?
Do you have a price? To put all those, to get compliance to close those permits, to do the landscaping work, on the fencing, whatever it is you have left. For phase 1,
Well, it depends, because there's 2 types. There's the perimeter, which is those things, and then there's, the city is requiring where there's space between the front fence and the sidewalk, where it permits shrubs. We have to plant some shrubs. All right, so that's part of our discussion tonight.
Okay, so what I'm going to suggest is get some prices, very
Which
close.
we have.
Okay, and give us the total number that you need for phase 4. We'll do phase 4 first, right? Because that one should be closed. And we'll look and see if you have enough in the operating fund for phase 4 to pay for it.
But that still leaves the buildings out, and we're running out of money for the buildings. This phase, we know you live in there, you read the construction schedule, and you rearranged it, so you were done first.
Stop with your
No,
allegations.
you did it. It's fact. It's fact, it's not an allegation.
Speak facts.
The point is, the phase 4 fines are $82,000. Phase 2 fines are $774,000, Patty.
And phase 2,
And
phase
say
1,
phase 2
and
was
phase 3,
the first one, no, phase 2, 3, no, 3,
Anyway,
are all
so
80,000.
phase 4,
Phase 2 is the high one.
if phase 4 has enough, when you do the math, and phase 4 has their percentage in the operating, we have an option to use to close.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's all I
You
need
can
to
use
do.
operating funds for any
Well, the
proper
state.
expense.
It doesn't matter if phase 4 funds are not for any other phase, so what he's saying is irrelevant. What I'm saying is, I'm talking about phase 4. The allocation, the percentage allocation in the operating fund, we will tell you the amount when the board chooses the trees and the shrubs tonight. We'll go back with the bids, and then we'll give you more of a concrete.
Yep.
And then you can reply whether phase 4 has enough in their percentage of allocation to the operating budget to cover that.
Absolutely.
And just as a reminder, the reason that phase 4 is completed and the other 3 phases are not is because, I'm sorry, phase 4 is completed.
And half of
Right, is because they are stucco buildings. And so they were a lot easier and quicker to be done. The contractor is the one that chose to do it that way.
Which,
Initially,
by the way, and you're all very welcome, that strategy saved us 800 and something thousand on our insurance.
right,
Okay? So the insurance carrier wanted to see it started.
And my name was last on the list,
Yeah.
very last.
Well, that we need to bring up with the contractor. So
Retaliation.
that strategy, that effort of the association starting these buildings is what got us the decrease in our property insurance. So everybody's very welcome that we worked that strategy to get it done.
Well,
I have an
it's
email,
not
and our broker said it, and I have an email from the broker thanking us for taking those steps to lower that outrageous $1.2 million of property insurance that we were paying. Now we're at 400 and something thousand.
No, that's-
Geez, not bad for a day's work, right? Okay,
Back to
so
the
anything
issue.
else?
I have a bad.
That's
Anything
it right
else?
now.
I just have a real quick question. On the money, you're gonna take money out of our operating expense budget to pay for the things that some of the owners haven't done.